Thanks for coming down into the basement today. What we've got here is this really very interesting looking NW2 switcher from 1955 made by Lionel. As you can see, it's a little worse for wear. Very grubby. Yeah. Let's toss her on the track, see if it goes, and then tear it all apart. Does it run? Oh, got some buzzing out of the reverse unit. Yeah. So it's not too happy. Well, here it is on the turntable. I can't let Ray from Ray's Trains have all the fun with his Lazy Susan that I am very jealous of, by the way. But, you know, hey, this is a really cool way to show off a train and whatnot. So here's some of the details. This is a very basic engine. There's no interior. There's no interior illumination from what I read online. Tandem Associates is the website I'm using for my information on here. We've got some interesting things with the coupler going on. I don't even think there's any lights in this guy, but it does have main traction on both axles, and that is a real good thing. It should be a good burner. We've got some rust that I'm really not going to repaint right now. Got some things to clean up on it, but hey, otherwise it's looking pretty good. Built by Lionel right there, and what I love is one screw right there to take off the whole body shell. So let's get started. I don't even know if this is the right screw, to be perfectly honest. Looks about right. Alright, so let's see what is underneath the shell. I noticed there was a... Ah, okay. Just had to pull it forward. Alright, so here's the crusty, yucky shell here. That is really dirty, but it should clean up nice. Got heat stamp lettering, so not too worried about it with the soap and water and toothbrush. Alright, set that off to the side. Very simple locomotive. Oh, look at all that grime and stuff there. Alright, so we've got some brushes and stuff here. Let me put on my gloves. I'll pop apart this motor real quick. Here's the underside. There's that screw. Main traction's working. Yeah, nice and strong. Okay, and we're not too worn out on these rollers if they're original, so just might have been used a medium amount. So the rollers aren't really worn out, so that's good. It says Lionel O27 diesel switcher. Alright, and we do have loose side frames here, but that's okay. That's just a screw on top, hopefully. Alright, let's get this plate off. Okay. What's behind door number 1? Have a brush that looks pretty good. Doesn't look too terribly bad at all. We have a lack of lubrication on the little gear here, and a definite lack of lubrication down in here. Should be all full of grease and stuff, but we'll be cleaning that out. I think the problem's going to be in our reverse unit. Got to loosen it in this case. Okay. Alright, so to get these apart, it's not too difficult. Just got to get your pliers in the right spot and pry it apart and it'll spring open. Let's take a look. Alright, got some larger ones. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll break something. There we go. Stuff goes flying. Alright, so we got the plunger. Here's our rather nasty looking drum unit. So this guy has seen a lot of abuse. Yeah, that is a melt spot right there. Yep, I thought so. Alright. There is the... Oh, interesting. I thought there were supposed to be 2 fingers on the bottom. There is but one. Okay. So, this guy has been used so much that these fingers are damaged. about a month has gone by, and I've got these really nice replacement E-unit parts, repair parts. I picked them up at a train show, and while they're not cheap, they came with soldered wires, which I really didn't intend on using. I imagine using these on a older engine, maybe like a steamer or something, but this is actually going to work out good for me. The wire colors work out just fine. They're identical, and it's actually going to save me some time, so I guess the extra expense is worth it. But I showed you this guy before, and it's got that really bad spot on there. And this one looks really good. But take a look at, it's pretty obvious here where that is missing. The one is missing over here. Here's the replacement. And then it's not so obvious on these guys until you have the replacement one in front of you. And all of the little half moon shape that go backward and will actually be like this, that run forward and press against the drum, are gone. They're broken off. I don't know if it overheated or if somebody just got crazy in there and tried to make stuff work and bend it and they just all broke. I'm guessing that's what might have happened. I'm just not really sure. It's kind of fascinating, really. But yeah, even the wire length will work out. But thought I'd show you guys that. And here is the E-unit all cleaned up. The last E-unit I took apart this far was the 221 locomotive, I believe. And that 221 was older, much older. That was like 46. That had a brass sleeve in here. But this has a nice plastic one, so I don't really need to polish the sleeve inside the E-unit. But I did polish this with a little bit of Scotch-Brite. And it is working really good. I also wiped down the outside, but same thing with this guy. This engine is so filthy, which is, it's really enjoyable to clean it up, to get things working good, get things looking nice. I do need to I believe it's swedge or swage, I don't really know how you say it, but I gotta basically restamp these so these pieces aren't loose. They should not be loose at all. Wow, this thing never ceases to amaze me how filthy it is. Look at how dirty that bottom plate is. Boy, it's gonna work so much better when I'm done. But here's something else that's interesting. This wire is like half melted through. Not sure exactly what happened there, but yeah, most of it is gone. That's pretty crazy. But I wasn't even aware that the whole truck assembly would separate like this. I was just removing it and just went boop. It's like, wow. So kind of think it's supposed to be swedged a little bit better on here, but oh well. This one will probably be super noisy too. Probably got a lot of wear in it, but at least there's bushings on this one. This thing cleaned up amazingly well. Unfortunately, there's a lot of wear in it. This thing's been used as much as that, what is it, 1055, that other locomotive. I think it came from the same auction lot, and considering how dirty it was, probably the same owner. But with the rear truck, since these separated, I didn't pull them apart on purpose, but these joints were just worn out and loose. This came down. I was able to put this in the ultrasonic cleaner. It turned out great. This is the other half, and because also it was out, I was able to support this part of the side frames and kind of take a chisel and sort of mash it back down, so nice and tight. Works really good. I was also able to do that with the front. This one's a little loose, but it's way better than what it was. And this one's really good. These were actually touching the wheels at one point. They were so bad. And here is the shell after cleaning. Now I use the same procedure as I did on the 1055. I used soap and water, and then I followed it up with a much harsher chemical. Diluted down, but this is a non-painted shell, so it didn't get affected nearly as bad. But it turned out really good. This shell looks way better. So I got it assembled, and I realized I had an awful lot of up and down play. Turns out this early motor used a BB to support the very bottom of the shaft here. You can see it goes right in there. And thanks to McMaster Carr, I now have a lifetime supply of both BBs for these little motors. It's a 5/32 BB. Let me just make sure it's 5/32 here. Oh, 5/64. I apologize. It is 5/64. So we now have those. I could have bought one from the regular suppliers, but didn't want to wait that long, and you know, now I got a lifetime supply. But they only use this style for 2 or 3 years, and then they change to where they have a bushing right in this plate. I restaked the sides here, so this does not pull out anymore, so should be good to go. So we got the power truck all assembled, but let's say we want to test it before we put it in the locomotive, just to make sure things work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this forward-only locomotive, which was the 1055, and pretty much all you got to do, it's pretty straightforward. The center rail connection goes to one brush, and one of the field coil wires goes to the other brush, and the other field coil wire is going to the outer rails. So this is goes, so the power transfers through the field coil, around through the brushes, and then back out through the center rail. So let's hook that up. So here's the one field coil wire. It's going to the outer rails, so we're good there. And I've got the one side of the field coil here. We're going to use a temporary jumper wire and connect it to one of the brushes. And then we'll take the center rail, because we don't have a center roller on this truck, and we'll connect it up to the other brush, and hopefully it'll work. I think we've got some brush connection issues. Come on. It wants to go. There we go. So it's working. Hopefully those connection issues are going to fix themselves once it gets a few revolutions on it. But that is how you test a motor without the E-unit hooked up. Okay, moment of truth. Let's see if I can make it work. Let's see, I gotta make sure that the... Yep, that looks right. The reverse lever's in the correct position. Come on, you can do it. There she goes. Get those brushes seated in. Oh, it's running pretty good. I think I found the problem. These side frames are loose, and the motor is attached to this little plate on the underside, so it can move a lot. So I'm going to work on maybe staking these pieces, or doing my best to get that thing more secure, and that should fix our issue. Which is one of the reasons why they went away from this design. They only had it for a couple years where they had the BB and this piece for the thrust bearing. I was able to take a punch, and this is the plate that was loose. I was able to access that piece and punch that down a little bit. That tightened that up. This one required like almost a pointed punch, just to sneak behind the wheel a little bit and tighten that up. And so now this plate is tight, so that thing shouldn't be wobbling around. Let's see if that helped out. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, yes. Well, that runs great. I am very happy with it. Let's put the body shell on and run it around a bit. Alright, this is now ready for the rails. I am very happy for this day. This one's been a real tough cookie to go through everything, but I am not complaining because it was a full-on basket case when I got it. Who'd have thought that it would be my first full E-unit rebuild with new fingers and stuff, but that worked out great. I'm really happy. It was a good experience, which is why I like working on basket cases, because they're good experiences. It helps build your skill set. So if you watched the video right before this one where I had an issue with this engine not going very well forward and backwards, and I ended up fixing it with a notebook, of all things, the little bit I didn't tell in that story is I thought the issue was caused by the brush plate, so I swapped it out, and it got worse. So turns out it was the thrust bearing in the bottom, that bottom plate that was loose, and yeah, that's a common issue with these older ones, but at least Lionel made a design change, so that was pretty cool. I hope you guys enjoy the next video that I've got set up for you.